did I put Club de Vampires? No Spanglish. Just kidding, there's nothing wrong with Spanglish. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Monica in Mono, and in today's video I'm going to be doing something a little bit differently. I'm going to be talking about some track releases from the beginning of January up until the end of March, so it is going to be a little bit of a long list, but let's just go ahead and get started. The first track I'm going to talk about is going to be the new Bauhaus track, How Could I Not? The title is Drink the New Wine, and this is their first new track in 14 years, and from what I heard, this track was recorded using the exquisite corpse method, which I think is reflected in the way that the song came out, which starts off with an uneasy, whimsical synth with psychedelic vocals. The track is very skeletal and disorienting, but also calming with its dub-influenced percussion, sparse, drony, buzzing guitars, and repetitious vocals. The track takes the experimental proto-punk aspects of their first album and blends it with the dub influences from Mask. So if that sounds interesting to you specifically as maybe an older Bauhaus fan, then I think this track is definitely worth a listen. Next on the list is the track Kaniec by Belarusian band Nürnberg. Now, I've never disliked Nürnberg, but to me they've always had heavy indie leanings that I don't see myself particularly seeking out apart from their more upbeat post-punk tracks. However, on this track, I really appreciate the dark synths and ethereal vibes on this track due to the very melodic guitar work. Still very much post-punk, especially in the guitar tone, but with very polished vocal melodies, which is always a given for this band at the end of the day. So definitely check out this track for some dark melodic post-punk. Next, we have the track by the band Ploho. This is a fast, repetitious post-punk track with a more repetitious chorus hook, more traditional rudimentary guitar lines with a nice synth accent, and just a good direct track that diverges just enough to keep your interest, especially with their use of synths. So definitely give this track a listen to for some nice synth playing. Next we have Séance by synthwave artist FM Attack and darkwave artist Vandal Moon. This is a very standard post-punk track with a prominent bass line and dark synths. I definitely got a lot of Curra influences on this track, particularly Forest. And there were also a lot of nice subtle production choices with the tones on this track that helped a lot with the song flow. So definitely check out this track for a perfect balance of danceability and eeriness. So the next band that I'm going to talk about actually has two tracks, and that is the band Sextile, and the first track is Modern Weekend, which is a mid-tempo track with nihilistic spoken vocals and jarring guitar sections. I know I might get a bit of hate for this, but it gave me some Gorillaz vibes in a way without the generic standard song arrangement. The second track is Contortion, which is a darker, more house-influenced track with a bouncy synth. In addition, this track has dark spoken vocals and an uneasy sounding synth motif, which I always enjoy. I always enjoy a little bit of quirkiness, a little bit of something different, a little bit of something I wasn't expecting. There's also good dynamics in the form of the arrangement and processing on the percussion. If I had to pick one that I prefer, it would probably be Contortion, but both tracks are definitely worth checking out. The next artist also has two tracks, which are Simpler Times and A Faraway Place by Lycia. I actually quite enjoyed their last EP, Casa Luna, which I think shows the band starting to refine their sound in a way that doesn't make you miss out on any of their defining traits of darkwave, folk, and shoegaze, so check out that EP if you haven't. However, the track Simpler Times is definitely more upbeat with basic vocal melodies and soft, lush synth motifs. Definitely a more direct approach with this track. And the track A Faraway Place keeps a similar pace, but a bit darker with the help of edgier guitar tones and a more sinister vocal delivery. I don't know if I like these tracks more than Casa Luna, but they're still worth a listen and they are a nice change of pace for the band. Next we have Club de Vampiros by French Police. This is another post-punk band, but I actually really enjoyed this particular track. I feel that the vocals are more ambitious and intimate and it really pays off. This is probably their darkest and most cohesive track thanks to its bouncy synth lines and memorable guitar that helps the track lean more dark wave, especially compared to the indie influences that they've had going on for a while. Next track is Suffer by Patriarchy. This is another great goth pop track with industrial influences and very danceable synths. And as always for Patriarchy, there is an unapologetic vocal delivery with super catchy melodies. Next, we have the tracks Earthbound and No Surprise by Sacred Skin, who have been a hit or miss for me in general, but I really appreciate the sound that they are bringing here, which is kind of the super catchy, new romantic synth pop. But I definitely like these two tracks over all their other previous releases. The track Earthbound is very danceable but mellow with anthemic nostalgic synth melodies, and the track No Surprise I feel gave me edgier Nexus vibes with a lot of disco influences. There were also great transitions to darker atmospheres on this track, thanks to some great synth choices that were made. So if I had to pick the one that I prefer, it would be No Surprise, but both tracks are definitely worth a listen. Next on the list, we have Aphrodita La Monarca by Curra, which is a fast-paced punk track with theatrical dynamics and vocal performances, which give it a chaotic but whimsical atmosphere, which I think goes very well with the music video. Also, check out all the other stuff she's put out, it's great. Next track is Hardships and Admiration by Blood Handsome and Male Tears. This is a skeletal, fast-paced, dark wave track with basic melodies that allow you to pay attention to the lyrics. There was also a psychedelic flair from the bright, hollow synths on this track. All this creates a danceable but introspective atmosphere. Overall, a good combo of ambient attributes from Blood Handsome with the direct and effective songwriting that we are always promised by Male Tears. Next, we have Someday I Will Bask in the Sun by SRSQ. This is some fun synth pop with nostalgic vocal melodies and guitar tones that hint at 90s pop rock. This track also has a repetitious melody that lets you focus on the lyrics, and I think the vocal delivery was perfectly animated, which helped create the nostalgic tone without sounding derivative, so definitely give this track a listen. Next, we have Tragedy by Scary Black, which is just a great punchy dark wave track with eerie guitars. There's also a lot of spooky ambience all over this track on top of the already gloomy and edgy vocal performance and dramatic melodies. Overall, some very nice dark vibes, so go check it out. Next on the list, we have Midnight Euphoria by darkwave band Camlann. This band actually has 4 other tracks from the same upcoming album posted on their Bandcamp, but I'm just going to talk about their first single from that album. Midnight Euphoria is a fast-paced dark disco track with unique female vocals and some jazz flair. There's also top-notch melody writing and overall super cohesive composition. It's definitely trading in some of the darkness for some more polish and danceability, but it's not completely out of left field for this band. And if you haven't listened to this band before, just go ahead and check out all of their stuff. It's all good. Next, we have the track Purple Zone by Soft Cell and Pet Shop Boys. This is a catchy pop track with an infectious chorus that is not overly predictable and keeps this nostalgic sensibility. This is accomplished with uplifting disco-influenced synths. The lyrics along with the chord progression and melodies gave me very heavy pop vibes. Overall, a great pop track with a bittersweet atmosphere. Next is the shoegaze metal artist Sadness, who has actually been putting out a lot of material lately, so I recommend you listen to all their other stuff, but I will be talking about the tracks on Within the Light Seam, which are fairysad and The Most Precious Orange Light, I Hold It in My Hands. The track fairysad dives into staticky guitars and screaming vocals that contrast well with these bright, soft synths. We also get these light and beachy transitions that take us into a rush of metal drums and melodic screaming vocals. I also love the introspection brought upon by the atonal lullaby music used for both the intro and the outro. The track The Most Precious Orange Light, I Hold It in My Hands is just a little more aggressive and dynamic with faster drums and much more mellow interludes. I loved the vocals on the second half of this track where there was a lot of alternating from screaming to singing, which resulted in a very emotive performance. But I feel like you're always going to get an emotive performance from Sadness. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a like. If you would like to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe to the channel where I will continue to be posting music and album reviews. And I will see you in the next video. Can I just give a shout out to Male Tears for posting my review of Trauma Club on both their Facebook and their Twitter? Just want to thank them for doing that. That was really fucking cool of them. Anyway, bye. Is it Séance? Séance? Séance. Bro, I'm not doing that. Tones that really helped with the flow. What the fuck am I even saying in that?